Hello everybody. Now for the final chapter in the secret garden. As this chapter's called Mr. Craven Comes Home. As time went on, Mary became a very different person to the spoiled, disagreeable little girl who had first come to Misselthwaite Manor. Her head was no longer full of sour and selfish thoughts. Instead, she was busy thinking about Dickon, the robin, moorland cottages crowded with children, and a beautiful secret garden. Colin too had changed. When he had been shut up in the room, he had thought only about his fears and her illness and dying. He knew nothing of the sunshine or of the spring. He didn't know he could get well or stand on his feet if he tried to, but when the magic of the garden began to work on him, he too became a different person. As the secret garden came alive, so did Mary and Colin. Whilst all this was happening, Colin's father was wandering around the most beautiful parts of Europe, in countries like Norway and Switzerland. But his heart was filled with sadness, as it had been for 10 years. The blue lakes, the mountainside covered with flowers, none of this brought him happiness, and his thoughts remained dark and restless. It was one day when he was walking amongst the beautiful hills and valleys of Austria that something happened. He had walked a long way that day and had become very tired. Wearily, he dropped down beside a clear mountain stream and rested his head on a carpet of moss. The valley was very still and silent, just the sound of the running water as it bubbled and splashed all over the stones. As Mr. Craven gazed into the clear water, he felt his mind and body grow quiet as the valley itself. As he thought he was going to sleep, at first he thought he was going to sleep, but he did not. Instead, he watched the water and his eyes began to see what was growing at its edge, a mass of blue forget-me-nots, so close to the stream that its leaves were wet and windy. He did not know how long he had lay there watching the stream, but at last he got up and stood beside the water. He moved as if awakening from a dream, and for the first time in 10 years he felt calm and peaceful with himself. That night he slept well, and in the morning continued on his travels, on to Italy and the beautiful lake of Como. The golden summer had changed into a deeper golden autumn. Mr. Craven spent his days beside the crystal blue lake or walking in the soft green hills. Then one night he had a dream so real that he did not feel he was dreaming at all. He heard a voice calling, a sweet, clear voice. "Archie, Archie," it called. "Lilias," he answered, "where are you?" "In the garden," said the voice of his wife, "in the garden." And then the dream ended. When he woke the next morning there was a letter waiting for him. He opened it and began to read. "Dear Sir, I am Susan Soberry, who spoke to you once on the moor. I hope you will not be angry because I have written, but please, sir, I would come home if I was you. I think you would be glad of it. Come as quickly as you can. Your obedient servant, Susan Soberry." Mr. Craven read the letter twice. He kept thinking about his dream. "I'll go back to Misselthwaite," he said. "Yes, I'll go at once." On the journey home, he found himself thinking of his son. For the past 10 years he had only wished to forget about the boy, but now memories of him drifted into his mind. He had not meant to be a bad father, but after his wife died, Mr. Craven had not felt like a father at all, and had kept away from the sickly-looking child. Now he felt he had been wrong to do this. Why had Mrs. Soberry written? Was the boy much worse? Was he dying? In spite of these alarming thoughts, Mr. Craven remained calm. For the first time for many years, he felt courage and hope. And when he arrived at Misselthwaite Manor, the servants immediately noticed he looked better. He went into the library and sent for Mrs. Medlock. "How is Colin, Mrs. Medlock?" he asked her. "Well, sir, he's different," she said. "He goes outside now. Miss Mary and Dickon Soberry push his chair into the garden and he stays there all day." Mr. Craven looked surprised. "Where is he now?" "In the garden, sir. He's always in the garden, although nobody is allowed to go near him." "In the garden," said Mr. Craven, and after he had sent Mrs. Medlock away, he repeated the words, "In the garden?" He went out of the house, through the courtyard and across the lawn. The flower beds were full of brilliant autumn flowers, but he did not see them. He crossed the lawn as if in a dream and walked along the path and besides the long ivory walls to a place he had long since tried to forget. He knew where the door was, even with the ivy hanging over it. But where had he buried the key? He stopped and looked at him. and at that moment he heard the voices, children's voices, and sounds of laughter and excitement. Suddenly the door in the wall was thrown open and a boy burst through at full speed. He didn't see the man near the wall and almost ran into his arms. He was a tall, handsome boy, glowing with health. "Who? What?" said Mr. Craven. Colin looked at him. "Father," he said, when he got his breath back. Then he stood as tall and straight as he could. "I'm Colin. You may not be able to believe it, but it's true. And it was the garden that did it, and Mary and Dickon. Are you glad, Father? I'm going to live for ever and ever." Mr. Craven took his son's arm. He could hardly speak for joy. "Take me into the garden, my boy," he said. So they led him in. They led him through the gold and yellow trees and between rows of late flowering roses. Then they sat down under a tree, all except Colin, who wanted to stand as he told his father the story of the secret garden's magic. Now, Colin said when he finished the story, "it need not be a secret any more. I'm never going to get into that wheelchair again. I'll walk back to the house with you, Father." And so he did, to the astonishment and delight of all the servants who were watching. Across the lawn came Mr. Craven, and by his side walked Colin, as straight and as strong as any boy in all of Yorkshire. And that's the end, girls. What a fantastic book. I hope you're having a fantastic time. I know you are. And tell Ailish I fed all the cats and the dog, and everybody's happy. Take care. Love you all. Bye.